Welcome back friends to another session of fluid mechanics and rate processes. Today we are going to talk about mass transfer, and this is the last topic in this course that we are going through. So let me first tell you what mass transfer is. So just like we had talked about heat transfer, which could take place either via conduction or via convection, we have talked about the momentum transfer in the case of fluid mechanics. Okay, we can also talk about mass transfer. So when you have a mixture, it could have several components, and you could have a transfer of one species from one part of the mixture to another. That is referred to as mass transfer. So let me formally write it. So let's consider a mixture of two or more species, and the species we are going to denote by I. Okay. So the movement that results in spatial redistribution in the composition is mass transfer. Okay. So suppose I take a mixture of let's say I take two gases. So maybe I have this diaphragm, and maybe I have here oxygen and then here hydrogen. Not a mixture right now, but then at T equal to 0 I burst the diaphragm. And then oxygen moves from higher concentration towards the compartment with hydrogen, where the oxygen concentration is 0, and likewise hydrogen moves from higher concentration to another part of the compartment where its concentration is 0. So you can imagine that this movement is taking place against the gradient of concentration, just like we saw for conduction, heat conduction, where the heat flux was negative of the gradient of temperature. Okay. So the same kind of a phenomena takes place here. So the question is, can I have a mass transfer only in gases? The answer is no. So can have mass transfer in solids, liquids and gases. Okay. So for example, liquids, okay, I could have different kinds of mixtures, and these components could be in liquid state, and there could be a transfer of one component into the other. Gases, I have already given you an example. Same thing with solids. So suppose I look at the semiconductor industry, where you have the doping of the various materials for semiconductor purpose. That again is an example of diffusion, mass diffusion in solids, okay, and so on and so forth. So let me give you some more examples from daily life which would illustrate mass transfer. So the first is, suppose I had a lake, and let's say here the sun shines, so it radiates energy and heats water due to radiation, let us say solar radiation. Therefore, this temperature at the surface of the water is higher. I have air here, and this of course I said is a lake, and now I have a breeze. So this is breeze. And what can happen is that water vapor, because of evaporation from the lake, okay, so this part of the air which is in contact with the lake can become water vapor rich. It could have higher concentration of water vapor, and then it could actually diffuse into air which has lower concentration of water vapor. Okay. In addition, I could have a breeze which could actually convect away this mass of water vapor. So what would therefore happen is that water from the lake, it gets into the region close to the air which is in contact with the lake, and then it may get carried away by the breeze. So that's one example of mass transfer. Another example could be the human respiratory system. So we have a very efficient system of lungs where the blood which comes in the veins, it is CO2 rich. So blood coming here is CO2 rich, and the lungs receive oxygen, and they will give out then blood which is O2 rich. So this is yet another example of mass transfer. So you can see the process that is happening. So there are these organs in which you are pumping in oxygen, and then there is a membrane through which the blood is being circulated, which is rich in carbon dioxide, and then the exchange takes place where CO2 is being pulled out and oxygen is being pumped in. So that's another a very, very efficient system, and things like there are many artificial systems which can help in try to replace lungs and maybe other organs of the body. So they would also rely on this technology. Let me give you another example, and that would be actually car tires. So as you are aware that if I take a car tire, so it's filled with air, and this is at a higher pressure. So P tire is actually greater than P atmosphere, and this is a rubber tube. Okay. So what is going to happen is that after a few days or after a few hours maybe, because this pressure is very high and you have air outside which has less concentration of the gas inside, so therefore this would actually diffuse out and you would get a lower air pressure inside the tire. Okay. So that is yet another type of mass transfer. So the question is, can we model this? Just like we have modeled fluid dynamics, where we have looked at momentum transfer, then we modeled conduction and convection of temperature. Can we do a similar thing for mass transfer? And the answer is yes, we can certainly do that, and there are laws which would help us do that. So there is a famous law by a scientist called Fick, the Fick's law, and we are going to look at that and see what kind of analysis it does. But to set that up, we need a few concepts. So let me first give the concept for you. So let me just give you the big picture. So there is something called the Fick's law, which we are going to study, okay, but we need to set up some concepts. So that's the landing point, and let's look at these concepts. So the first is concentrations. So you are aware of this, that if there is a mixture, and I will refer to it as the ith species in a mixture. So I could talk about the mass density and that I would refer to as rho I, which actually means this is mass of species I per unit volume of mixture. Okay. Similarly, I could talk about the molar density, and this I would denote by rho I. I'll put a star here as a superscript, and this essentially means it is the number of moles of species I per unit volume of mixture. Okay, so we are aware of this, and what you can notice that rho I star is actually simply rho I divided by mi, where mi corresponds to the molecular weight of species I. Okay. Now I can talk about the mass fraction. So the mass fraction I would denote as mi. This is actually rho I by rho, where rho corresponds to the density of mixture, and that actually is simply summation of all the densities. Okay. So having defined the density, the mass density and molar density, I can now talk about mass fraction, and likewise I can talk about mole fraction. So the mole fraction is going to be given as mi star, same notation, and this is the rho I star by rho. So I, as I said, refers to the species, and without a subscript means it's the density of the mixture. Sorry, this should be a star here. So rho star corresponds to summation rho I star. Okay. So this is the mass density, and rho star is the molar density of the mixture. All right. We can also see that simply from arithmetic, that summation all the mass fractions should add up to 1, and likewise all the molar fractions should also add up to 1. I can talk about m as the mean molecular weight of the mixture, and that is given as rho divided by rho star. M actually is, you can see, rho divided by rho star, and I can open up rho as summation over rho I divided by rho star, and this now I can write as summation mi times rho I star divided by rho star, and this you can see would simply become mi star times mi. So if I wanted to get the mean molecular weight of the mixture, then I know the molecular weight of each component, and if I simply use mi star, which actually is the molar density or the molar fraction, then I can estimate this. All right, let's start with an example just to illustrate these concepts. So let's take a gas mixture which consists of the following gases. So they have nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, and they have a partial pressure in the following proportion. So P N2 to the pressure of O2 to the pressure of CO2 and to the pressure of carbon monoxide, that's given as 0.4 to 0.3 to 0.2 and to 0.1. Okay, so that's the relative partial pressure, and you are supposed to find the concentration of various components such that the pressure of the mixture is roughly 1 atmosphere. So it's given as 10 to the 5th Pascal, so little bit less than atmospheric pressure, and temperature is 20 degrees centigrade. Okay. So with this information, let me show you how we can estimate the composition of the mixture under these conditions. So the first thing we want to realize is that the partial pressure Pi for each component is going to be given as rho I star, R star and T, and R star of course is the universal gas constant. Okay. We will also realize that the pressure of the mixture is actually the summation of the partial pressures. So that's the Dalton's law. So this is summation Pi over all I, and this of course would be given as, I will substitute for this gas law, the ideal gas law, and that would be rho I star, R star and T, and as you know, summation of rho I star would be given as simply rho star, R star and T. Okay. So actually now if I wanted to get mi star, okay, and mi star as we have written here is simply the mole fraction. Okay. So the mole fraction is given as rho I star by rho star, and that therefore is simply going to be Pi by P. Okay, so the ratio of the partial pressures will give me the mole fraction. Okay, let's work out the details. So let me make a small chart here. So I'll put I as the species and then the Pi, and I would also like to calculate rho I star. So let's start with the gas nitrogen, then I have oxygen, then I have CO2 and carbon monoxide.